Hi, and welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back. I'm joined today with Carmen and Mark Meier, who is the founder of Heaven's Helpers Soup Cafe. We're going to be talking about that in just a minute, but before we get started, I wanted to talk about our guest yesterday, Father Robert Mateig. I did not properly plug his book, so I told him I'm going to mention it today so that you can see it. He wrote the book, Real Philosophy for Real People. And he was an absolutely fantastic guest yesterday, talking about real science, real issues, and in a loving, kind, but very honest way. And we need that today, very much so. And if you are interested in hearing more, you can watch yesterday's show. And I highly recommend his book, Real Philosophy for Real People, Tools for Truthful Living. We need it.
And to watch yesterday's show, just go to becknews.com and you can scroll down and find Ladies of Another View, and you can see our past programs. So if you want to do that, that's where you find it.
Thank you for mentioning that, Carmen. You never need to miss a show. You can always watch in the archives. And then we do reruns 10 o'clock the next morning. So if you miss at 4:30, you can always watch the next day at 10. But anyways, I want to welcome you to the show, Mark.
Thank you.
He is the founder of Heaven's Helpers Soup Cafe. And it is an amazing, unique place that you're going to tell us about, because I know there's people that watch from all across the country. We hear from them. And there's nothing quite like this, because, yeah, there are soup kitchens, but this is the coolest place. It is like a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You treat people with such dignity. They come in and they order. But I don't need to tell everybody. You tell us about it.
Well, you know, it's funny because we've had a lot of, I would call them transients who travel the country, and they visit every soup kitchen in the country, and they comment that this is the most unique soup kitchen that they've run across. And it's because we do treat people with love and respect. We don't line people up and slop food on their plate. We wait on them just like at a restaurant. We have 2 or 3 choices of soups, 2 or 3 choices of sandwiches and salads and desserts, and just really treat them the way we'd want to be treated.
They actually order off a menu, right?
We have the menu listed on the menu board, but the wait person, the volunteer, will come by and tell them our soups and our sandwiches. And it's fun because, you know, this morning we had Century Baptist 4th and 5th graders, and they were taking orders, and they were running the whole cafe.
I bet they loved it.
They loved it, yeah.
Kids do that for fun.
Job. Yeah.
They play restaurant.
Who wouldn't want to play restaurant?
Yes.
Yep. And what a great way to introduce kids to the fact that there's something bigger than them,
Yes.
you know, at that early of an age, where they can really help somebody, right?
We always pray before we start, and I always try to emphasize how blessed they really are, to not worry about what they're going to eat or a shower, you know, just the little things in life that the people that they're serving don't always have that.
Can you go into a little more detail on that, Mark? Like, what do you provide for the people that you're caring for and loving on? You mentioned shower. I know at one point I had heard something about you were moving into that line of business as well, if you will. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so we've been offering the soup kitchen for 3 years now at this location. We've operated since '09, but we've seen a lot of things at the old soup cafe where people would go down to the river and shower, or bathe, or they'd go into the bathroom for a sponge bath, things like that. So we knew that we wanted to do a shower. You can do that, but if you still put on the same stinky clothes you've been wearing for 3 weeks, you're still stinky, you know. So we put in a small laundry room with a couple washers and a couple dryers and computers for people to find work. And so we've been in the process of construction and getting the ministry center set, and we're about at the start of where wondering how we dip our toe into opening up, because it's not just everybody can just use it whenever. They're going to have to earn Soup Cafe bucks, which involve them volunteering, chopping vegetables, washing dishes, things like that. Then they earn a Soup Cafe buck and they can use it for the shower, the laundry, the computers, that sort of thing. But it all takes volunteers. It all takes, you know, we've only got one part-time staff at the Soup Cafe. Everybody else are volunteers. And so how to implement that and to get it rolling has, you know, we're just pausing just a little bit because we're struggling for volunteers, especially in the summertime.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about volunteers, because there's people watching that maybe might not even know about you. And tell us what kind of work they do and how can they go about volunteering.
Yeah. So when you come to the Soup Cafe, your volunteering might include waiting on tables just like you would at a restaurant. It might be passing around a tray of desserts and salads, that sort of thing. It might be scooping soup. It might be doing the sandwich and giving it to the wait person. It might be washing dishes. It might be chopping vegetables and doing prep type work. So there's all kinds of different opportunities that people can engage in. And when you look at what it takes to run the Soup Cafe and the hours, you know, we're open 6 days a week, and we open from 11 and we close at 5. You know, a lot of times soup kitchens, they're only open for like an hour and a half, and then but we're open all day long. So we take it takes probably 30 volunteers every day just to run the operation.
And would they go to your website, soupcafe.org, right?
Yep, soupcafe.org. They can follow us on Facebook, but that's where you sign up, is soupcafe.org. You just click on volunteer, and really easy.
What I like about it is you can sign up. You have a calendar and you have slots, so you can take a look and realize, oh, look, on this day you need 2 more people. I think I'll sign up. So somebody can do it as a weekly service,
like
right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, for example, that was on National Hamburger Day, and normally.
Oh, I missed it. When's National Hamburger Day?
Yeah, it was a week ago or a week and a
Okay.
half ago. But at any rate, we didn't have anybody, but we had a volunteer that said, "Hey, it's National Hamburger Day. Do you mind if I come and grill hamburgers?" And we had the hamburgers. We just didn't have the manpower, but he made it happen. So things like that are fun.
That's awesome. And so everything is volunteer except one part-time staff person.
One part staff.
And do you ever
person.
have trouble getting volunteers, or is it pretty good turnout?
It's been challenging with COVID. You know, it's just changed the whole dynamics of things, of people feeling safe and so forth. Things are getting back to normal, but we've always had trouble in the summertime as college students are out. You know, we get a good drawing from University of Mary. We get a lot of high school students, that sort of thing, that help fill some of these hours. But let's face it, summertime in North Dakota,
Yeah.
people aren't thinking about volunteering at the soup kitchen.
Right,
They're thinking about the river, going to the lake, you know, things like that.
Yeah. And I know we're running short on time, but I'd like to know a little more about what you've seen since 2009 as far as growth or shrinking of how many people visit your establishment.
And we'll talk about that. I want to talk about who are you servicing and why should we help them, and a little bit more. We'll ask some more questions when we come back after the break with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen in the future of this country. And it's important. I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie.
Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota. Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity.
How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are joined here with Mark Meier, the founder of Heaven's Helpers Soup Cafe in Bismarck. And I'd like you to tell us what kind of people come to the cafe. Who are you helping?
So a lot of people think it's just homeless, which we certainly have. That's probably 20% of our clientele. The rest would be working poor. We serve a lot of elderly. We serve single moms and dads who come in with kids, families. We get regular folks who come in who, instead of going to the restaurant and spending $5 or $10, they'll come to the soup cafe, have a homemade bowl of soup and sandwich, and put something in the box to help those who can't afford it.
Stop right there. I did not know this.
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
I did not know. And they're welcome if you're out with friends.
Welcome,
you can say, let's go to the soup cafe and buy our lunch there.
Yep, exactly.
And haven't you even had times where you'll wind up having jam sessions there? And I mean, it becomes more of a family feel to it for the people who are showing up.
There's times we have live music, and it's just, it's just a very welcoming environment.
Right. And I want to back up to our first segment. And you mentioned that you now have where they can have shower and washer dryer and computers to be able to find work, and that's not just something that they're just given to do.
Right.
That they need to earn, what'd you say, soup cafe bucks?
Soup cafe bucks,
right.
yep.
And so why do you think that's important, and how do they go about doing that again?
Yeah, so on one of the sides of the soup cafe buck, it says not just a handout, but a hand up. And I think it's real important that you help get people engaged and everybody feels better when they can earn something and work for it. And it just, there's that feeling of, hey, I did something to get this. And so we just felt it was important not to just give it away, but just have some responsibility. And there's some people who come in who might not talk a lot. They're very into themselves. They're might have some issues, but if we can help break them out of that mold and get them acclimated and start communicating,
And I think one of the real values of your program is you come at it from the prospect of love and concern, and you're not a social program.
Correct.
You're not some government entity that says, okay, you'll jump through this hoop, this hoop, this hoop, then you're going to get your sandwich. you know, it's not that. It's more the love of Christ that we've all heard about, or most of us have heard about. But how do you demonstrate that? You know, how do you live that? And I think you're a perfect example, your organization, of how you bring that to people and just let them know they're cared about. That's so lacking in our society today. And so I just can see where people that really don't need to be there might want to go there just to share their joy, their, you know, love to see you stuff. Because it's just, we love on people. We just love on people. That's what we do.
Well, Mark, I feel like you're helping us too, because you're giving us a place where we can be charitable and Christ-like. And you did all the heavy lifting. You created this, and we just need to show up once in a while and help out, right, and volunteer.
You know, I always say that, you know, there's a ministry that goes on in the front of the room, but there's an even bigger ministry that goes on behind the counter, where we're offering volunteers an opportunity to give back and to get out of their comfort zone and their little world that they live in, and see the real world and give back and love people.
And you're also doing something, is it with what I would call your regulars? I mean, every business has their regulars, right? Like a Bible study type thing, or is that?
Yeah, so
tell us about what that is and how
so
that goes.
we had some Bible studies going pre-COVID. Once COVID hit, that kind of everything kind of changed. We had to back down on hours, but now what we're doing is we had our first Bible study in the back in the ministry center last Friday, but what we want to be able to do is offer Bible studies throughout the daytime. Yeah, that was the old soup cafe.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the old soup cafe would fit within our kitchen that we have now.
Much bigger facility now, right?
So it's much bigger.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're going to have Bible studies and life skills classes and different things like that.
Is this the new or old building?
This is the old one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but now, who comes to your Bible studies then? I mean, is it just anybody who wants to show up? Who's it normally draw?
It's targeted towards the guests in the front.
Okay.
And there's many times that to get out of the cold or get out of the heat, someone will camp out all day long and stay at the soup cafe. And so we're trying to get away from that, because oftentimes people are looking for a place to sit. There's no place to sit because, you know, so they'll be able to eat, rest a little bit, and then we'll have Bible studies every hour, every couple hours, something like that, where people can come back there.
And I'm going to guess, just from listening to you, I know from my own personal experience, the word Bible study can be very threatening. But it sounds like to me the type of thing you're doing is a lot more gentle and just caring, and just to help them get an understanding of what so many of us believe.
Exactly.
As far as love and concern.
Meet them where they're at. Like, for example, we're going to be starting one where we're going to be showing a movie. It's going to be I don't know if you've heard of The Chosen.
Yes.
But we're going to be showing that and making popcorn back there.
God bless you.
We've got a big screen and
I haven't
projector.
seen. I want to go.
Exactly.
I haven't
God
seen
bless
it yet.
you, because that's several episodes. We're in season 2 now, and it brings the Bible to life. It is just amazing what they've done, and thank you for doing that. That
Absolutely.
is, I get goosebumps.
I do too. That is so cool. Well, Mark, what do you do? Do you have another life, and this is a side thing? Is this your full-time job, and how did you start it?
This is my life. I enjoy doing things outside of the soup cafe, but the Lord called me into this in 2009, and it's been my life. And so it's been busy, because we're starting a couple different ministries with Closet 701, which is free clothing for people, and then now we're starting the Heaven's Helpers repurpose store.
How do people donate to that?
Yeah, they can follow Closet 701 on Facebook. They've got their own Facebook site. We don't have one yet for the repurpose store, but soon.
So is either place open for business yet?
Closet 701.
Where is that?
And that's at just right beside Interstate Battery in Bismarck, on 919 on East Main. Yep.
Okay.
And then the repurpose store will be 5 blocks to the east of that, 1401 East Main.
Is that going to be what, furniture and
Furniture, appliances, building materials. The whole idea is to bring people back into the ministry center, people who want to make a change, who want to get out of this cycle that they might be in.
Right.
They need it.
Revolving door.
Exactly, so that we can hire people like that, mentor them, teach them how to work, disciple them, and just give them.
God bless you again. Because that feeling of worthlessness can get transformed into feeling like I am worth something, I'm contributing something to my environment. You know, it's a huge, huge piece of getting better.
And it makes the whole community a better place, really. And you need people to donate food, right? Sometimes Cloverdale, a lot of different businesses have donated food.
We haven't went grocery shopping since 2009.
Oh, that's amazing.
So whatever the Lord
All
provides,
donations.
that's what we.
Yep.
Amazing.
You have
Well,
some interesting soups someday.
Yes, we do.
I want to encourage everybody to go to soupcafe.org and also check out the Facebook page. And is it Closet 701?
Yeah.
Closet 701.
Heaven's
on Facebook?
Helpers Closet 701.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Mark Meier.
Thank you.
And we'll be in touch, and I'm sure we'll be there volunteering very soon.
Sounds good.
Or eating lunch, too. Yeah, so join us for our next segment. We're going to have Ann DeSantis, and she's going to talk about ministering to the marginalized when we come back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore?
Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
But how will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we have a real theme going here today because our next guest is Ann DeSantis, and she's the author of Love and Care for the Marginalized, 40 Meditations. That's her book, and if you go to AnnDeSantis.com, I'll give you the spelling, and I want to first of all invite her onto the show here and welcome her. Hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to have you on because I've known you through email. I think we've talked on the phone a couple times as fellow writers, and you do a lot of interesting stuff. You are a model, an actress, a podcaster. You have a TV show. What don't you do? I know you have children. You don't sleep. That's what you don't do, right?
Well, we all need more of that, right? Yes, I'm pretty busy, involved in ministry. And actually, my primary position, my primary job is I'm the director for a foundation. I'm with the St. Raymond Donatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith. And what we do is offer pastoral accompaniment for families in crisis. And so I've learned a lot also through my work with the outreach that we do to helping families. And
what are some of the, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, no.
I'm just wondering, what are some of the things that you do with what you just said? What, can you give us an example of what that might be?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that a lot. We're actually formed from a religious order. It's the Mercedarian religious order. So we make outreach to families affected by divorce and also families who are experiencing some kind of crisis. And as you can imagine, with the pandemic that we went through this past year, there's all kinds of crisis that, people have gone through and they're still going through. So that's my primary job, my primary position. And then I decided to write this book, and it's 40 reflections on making outreach, love and care for the marginalized. So it kind of goes together a little bit, I guess, with the work that I do with the foundation. Because my idea for this book was to bring a reflection, a quote, a prayer, and also a call to action, and something that we can do to help people who are, feeling that distance from others, who feel like they need more support than they're getting. So that was my whole idea with writing this book.
Yeah, and when you say help for the marginalized, I think, me personally, that I don't know your work, I'm sorry to say, but we think of a lot of the people in our society, when you use that word marginalized, it's the homeless. That's where a lot of us go in our mind. And it sounds like, if I'm understanding you, you're saying the marginalized include anyone who doesn't feel the connection to the love of God, to the love of people in the community, that type of thing, whether it's divorce, whether it's, all kinds of social ills that go on in our society. Am I understanding that right?
Exactly. And I appreciate that. It seemed, I guess you've read a little bit of that, of the book or of the description, because that is exactly what it's about. And if I could put it into some kind of a tagline, I would say that it's
hello?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. We seemed like we just disconnected there for some reason. So who are the marginalized that we can think about? Because I think a lot of us think, oh, homeless people, yeah, they're the marginalized. But you're saying that we probably are near marginalized people in our everyday lives that we should be looking for, right, to reach out to?
Exactly. You said it perfectly. My sort of, like, I would say my tagline for the book is marginalized people are people who don't have the love and support that they deserve. And so there's so many people out there. There are people in our own home, extended family members, people in our neighborhoods, churches, communities. There are even people on like a Zoom call sometimes. You're on a work Zoom call, and maybe it's that person that doesn't say too much, that quiet person. So I think that they're everywhere. And if we keep our eyes open, we can really see how we can make outreach to them and be a friend, just be a friend to them and let them know that somebody cares.
And what you just said, that person on the Zoom call, that makes me think of a situation that is common, where we go to maybe a church social or some event and we look for our friends because it's fun to sit and visit with our friends. But how often do we look for somebody who's sitting by themselves and maybe has nobody to talk to? And that's something that we could all do to make the world a friendlier, warmer place. Because if you're that person sitting by yourself, it doesn't feel very comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you said that exactly when you bring up church, because I was just on a podcast recently where we were talking about, the great commandments, which is to love God with all our heart, all our soul, all our mind, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. I think there's some people who are very good at that first part, very good at loving God, right? Doing their prayers, hanging out with church friends, involved in ministry. But then that second part of loving our neighbor as ourselves, that's the part that's a little harder for many of us, I think. So the loving God part, can be maybe an easier thing for some, and maybe vice versa too. There can be people who are better at making outreach to their neighbor, but maybe not thinking too much about God. But those two things have to go together.
And
they
loving
really do.
our neighbor as ourselves can almost translate into do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
That's right.
That used to be something that hung on a lot of walls when I was a kid, along with the 10 Commandments, and I don't see either one anymore. So, that golden rule kind of has gone by the wayside too. And, teaching, it just was such a great reminder in so many homes that, that empathy for others, we hear it in our society today, you get what you give, or share your smile. That might be the best thing you can do for somebody, but that's exactly the kind of thing you're talking about here, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And sometimes I think we can all get real comfortable with the people that we like. Let's face it, right? Whether it's our relatives that we like, it could be people that are in our own home, in our own families, the little cliques that form sometimes, and the little cliques that form an extended family. And then, like you said, the little cliques that sometimes, when Patty was saying at church too. And so we need to keep our eyes open, because this is part of what it means to really, be a disciple, to care about other people. And it's not just about us, we do have to make that outreach, and it's going to help to make the world a better place. If we don't act, who will? That's what the book is really about. If we don't do something, who will do it?
Right. We like to admire those people that do good work, like Mark Meier we had on from Heaven's Helpers. Isn't that amazing? I'm not going to start a soup kitchen, but he did. But what can I do? Like we can't just sit back and wait for everybody else to do the work. And because I'm not from North Dakota, but I've been here for 30 years, and I love it. Good place. From Detroit and Montana and Oregon. And in some of those cities where there's a lot of people that move there from outside the area, it's easier to meet people. In North Dakota, it was a little harder because I wasn't from here. And that's why maybe I'm sensitive to noticing and looking around for those people that might be sitting by themselves and starting up a conversation with them. And even teaching our kids in school, there shouldn't be kids sitting at lunch tables by themselves. But it happens, and that's, we really have to try to hand that down to our kids, and our teachers need to. And I know they do to one extent or another, but I think being human, we slip into our comfort levels and forget to look around us sometimes, right?
Yes, we do. And I think this is a perfect time of year to reflect on that. There's a lot of graduations, people receiving diplomas and degrees. So it's a good time to think about, what does it mean to be successful? It doesn't just mean that you were the valedictorian or that you had this big group of friends when you graduated from college or high school. It really means, also, how did you treat people? What did you do to build up your character and your virtue instead of being selfish? So that's part of what this book is about too.
We're going to talk more about this when we come back. I know you have some famous people who changed the world with their caring for others, and we'll talk about that when we come back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Hi, and welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. We are joined with Ann DeSantis, who has just written a book called Love and Care for the Marginalized, and it contains 40 meditations. And we were talking about who are the marginalized, and they're not just the street people, the homeless people. They are the person at church sitting by themselves. There's somebody maybe going through divorce, or somebody who needs help with kids, feeling lonely, you know, you name it. We all can look for people that we can help and minister to. Ann, why don't you share some of the different meditations that you have in your book?
Sure. Well, first I will talk about the quotes themselves. The quotes come from popes, saints, religious leaders. Some of them are my own, and also a couple movie quotes in there too. So it is a book that it's Catholic meditations. It is for Catholics, but really anybody can read this book. It's for anyone because, as I said, I'm bringing in quotes from different people outside of the church too. And then there's also a reflection and a prayer. And there's also a call to action too, that we can go to every day and say, you know, what can I do to help other people? What can I do to help make someone who feels really left out, really marginalized and not included and doesn't have the love and support that they deserve? And as I said during the first part of this interview, that is what the book is about. It's about making outreach to people who are not getting that support that they deserve. And it truly is part of that golden rule of loving God with all our heart and then loving our neighbor as ourselves. And that second part of the rule is very important.
Right. You know, this is out of left field, and if you can answer it off the top of your head, that's great. If not, sorry. But is there any particular event or time in your life where this really hit home for you, this ministry that you've written about in this book? Was there some certain happening that was a catalyst, or how did that come to be?
Well, it's funny that you asked that question because yes, there was a time in my life, the year was 2009, And this show is probably too long for me to get into all those details about that year. But that was a year that my family was going through a rough time. Particularly, it was my youngest daughter. And I found myself in that position. I was very active at church. I had a lot of friends there. I had good relationships with friends and with family. But I got to a point in my life where, because of what was going on and because of the things that were happening in my own life and trying to make outreach to my daughter and what she was going through, that I found myself very much alone. And God taught me some lessons during that time. The lessons that he taught me was what it feels like to feel that way. And then here we are, 12 years later, this idea to write a book about this came to me, because what I would like to do is to enlighten people that don't be afraid to talk to that depressed person. Don't be afraid to make a phone call to someone that doesn't really feel like they're part of the group anymore. And that's what I experienced during that time in my life. I had to drop out of a bunch of activities. I was very active at church and different things, but because I had to attend to a crisis that was happening, I lost a lot of friends. But what happened to me was I found that some of the connections that I had from my past, I didn't hear from anymore. And that's okay, because, life happens, right? But what it made me do was really understand and realize what it's like to go through that. And my life mission now, from now until the rest of my life, and even before today, is to make outreach to them. It's loving God is one thing, but loving our neighbor is a whole other thing. And we really need to do that. It's not just about being in a holy huddle with our friends and just praying for someone. We need to act, right? And that's what it's all about. And so I do hope that this book will help people to make that step, to reach out to the person who feels a little bit alone or not part of the family anymore, or part of the neighborhood, or part of church. And, you might want to say that prayer for them, but making a step to make them feel included is what really needs to be done, and really needs to make that outreach, make time for them, make time for that person who feels marginalized.
Your book helps people make those connections, right? Because there's people that are feeling lost and lonely, and then there's people that don't know how to take that first step. They want to help people, they feel compassionate, but they feel a little shy too. Right. And they don't want to stick their neck out, and maybe they won't be welcomed. And would you say your meditations help them to get over that?
I think they do. I mean, my meditations are very plain spoken. They are very direct as far as what to do to make that outreach. And a lot of it is just making a decision in our hearts and in our minds that the accolades of the world and, being popular and being, the funny person in the group is not as important as making outreach to that marginalized person, the person who doesn't have the love and support that they deserve. We're at a time of year where there's a lot of graduations. People are celebrating success, right? And it's an important time to really reflect, what does it mean to be successful in life? Does it mean that I have a group of friends, a big group of friends that I go out to dinner with all the time and go to parties with and laugh and have a great time? That's great. That's a good thing. And it's good to have that support, but not everybody has that. And so it's more important to make that outreach to the one person who might not feel that they have that support that they deserve, because of life circumstances. Sometimes life circumstances bring us to a point where we never thought we'd be there, but that's where we are. We are alone and without support.
Something that I've enjoyed and I have found very deep on my life journey is to go to wakes. And I don't just, I'm not just somebody who shows up at wakes, but those are the people will share their stories. And those are the things that were important in that person's life. And one time I was waiting for some activity and there was a wake at the church, and I just sat there and I was at a wake of somebody I didn't even know. But I just enjoyed listening to what everybody was saying about this person. And so I was getting to know this person. And it isn't how successful they were in life, but it was how they touched people's lives. And I know some people have said they've gone to wakes, family members that didn't even know this about their mother or their father, people that came out of the woodwork, and they found out how they had touched people's lives. And that's really what the true value of your life is, right?
Yeah, the true value of our lives, you know, we can look at, as I said, that great commandment of loving God and loving others, and everything falls underneath that. But we can't just love God, say our prayers, and have our small group of friends that we hang out with. We need to go out. We need to look for those people that are marginalized, those people who are on the fringes, those people who are made as an outcast in some way, and let them know that they are supported and that we're willing to take a step forward to support them.
Well,
You
and
know,
I think too,
that's what it's about.
right. I think too, when you're speaking, because it seems like to me, we're in a new era in our country as well. I don't know how your community is, but even in our own community here, where there are so many people who are, they don't trust other people. They have been burned too many times, you know, and so my thought is, when we're talking here, we're not better than anybody else, but what is our motive? You know, what is our motive to go to talk to someone? If my motive is to go to talk to that person so that I feel better, I'm doing it for the wrong reason. If my motive is to go to talk to that person because I want to give something to them to help them feel better, now maybe I'm on the right track. You know, because it winds up that the receiver gets burnt instead of helped. And so I have, that just has happened to me a lot of times, and I just hope we're aware of that.
And so in 30 seconds, Ann, can you comment on that?
You said it perfectly. You said that perfectly. I mean, it's exactly what it's about. We shouldn't do things just to quote say, hey, I'm a good person now. I was nice to so-and-so, or I wrote a check for somebody. I feel better about it. You know why we do it? Because it's an honor. It's an honor to serve the marginalized. It's an honor to befriend those who are alone. It's an honor to love, really.
Right.
So that's why
I love that.
Right.
I love that. In a way, they're a gift to us because we need each other, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Ann.
Thank you.
And once
This
again,
is wonderful.
I really encourage people to take a look at your book, Love and Care for the Marginalized, 40 Meditations. And
God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you.
God
There's
bless.
the book. I encourage you to get it. And we'll be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Hey Bucks fans,
If you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after-hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. And Carmen, we just about did it, just the two of us today.
What the heck, huh?
We already got our summer staff going here.
There you go, yep.
Yeah, we weren't sure.
Life gets busy sometimes, right?
It does,
Yeah.
but I was glad Carmen was here with me today. I knew we could pull it off, and we had two good guests, right?
Well, we sure did. They were really, really good, and just love what they're doing to help the community and all
Yep.
this stuff. Yeah, it's
I love
amazing.
It.
Yeah.
I love it. That was our theme today, really helping the marginalized. And we're going to continue with that in a way with our lighter side. Take a look at what happened. This is graduation season. This happened just last Friday.
Now, it's my privilege to introduce our class speaker, Retta Teda. I actually first met her in 4th grade at South Street Elementary School, where she was and remains always ready and eager to lend a helping hand. Seeing her grow and reach outstanding academic and community achievements has truly been a gift.
I know every single person in this room has an amazing talent, amazing ability, or amazing character that will make the world a better place. Class of 2021, work hard, know that you are the future, live life to the fullest, and be resilient. Thank you.
Initiated in 2004, this award is a $10,000 annual scholarship graciously established by the Projan family in memory of George K. Projan, an alumnus of Fitchburg High School. The award is renewable annually for 4 years of undergraduate college education. I am very honored to announce this year's recipients, Retta Teda and Zachary Scott.
Sorry again for interrupting, but I was just sitting down and I'm hearing Mr. D talk about being selfless and being bold and doing what you know is right, which I know I said in my speech, and I am so very grateful for this. But I also know that I am not the one who needs this the most. And knowing my mom went to community college and how much that was helpful, I would be so very grateful if administration would consider giving the General Excellence Scholarship to someone who's going into community college, because I know it is such a great honor, but I also know that I am not the most in need of it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, tell our viewers a little more about where her mom is from and everything.
This Fitchburg High School is in Massachusetts. Her mom came from Ghana, went to community college and got her degree at 47 years old. And she has a bright, wonderful, loving, giving daughter. And that scholarship was for $40,000, $10,000 a year. She has a full ride scholarship to Harvard. But she could have used the scholarship for books, computer expenses, any way she wanted to spend it. And she sat there thinking, before anybody could tell her not to do it, she said, I'm going to give this back. And so she went up there which is a bold move in and of itself when you're 17 and there's a big ceremony going on. She went up there and said, I'm giving this back. I want somebody who's maybe going to community college and needs the help, like my mother did, to get it instead. Isn't that beautiful?
Wow, it is so beautiful. And you know, the fact that her mother, so this graduate is first generation American.
Right.
Her mom coming from Ghana.
She came from Ghana as a child. Her mother brought her over here as a child.
Right? Oh my gosh. You know, when you just think about that, it goes back for me when we went to Dallas, and our MC for the whole weekend was a gentleman from Romania. He had come here with his parents as a child, and he talked about freedom in America. He talked about how much he has been given because of America. And I kept thinking about how many of us take so much for granted in this country. And that little girl right there, you can tell that she's very sensitive to just how blessed she is to be in this country, and that somebody else probably needs something more than her. She's helping the marginalized. You know?
She is, and she thought, I've been given much. And her mother, a quote from her mother is, now I'm 100% sure she's ready to go into the world on her own.
Oh.
You know, she didn't say, wait, what are you doing? You just threw away $40,000.
Yeah, right,
She's like, now I know she's ready. She's so proud of her daughter, and I'm proud of her. What a story.
That's the values and the morals that built this country, and they're carrying that on, and I love that. That's what America's about. We are the melting pot of good, you know? I just love it.
Absolutely. What a wonderful story.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today, and I hope we've inspired you. We've inspired ourselves, right?
Right.
So we're going to go out and do, you know, stretch ourselves and look out how can we help the marginalized
How can
too.
we help? Yeah.
Right. So stay tuned for Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp coming up next, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow for another exciting show with Ladies of Another View on Beck.